Coach, when you think back to your days here, I'm sure it's been asked earlier in this week, but have you taken a moment to reflect on just how far you've come?
I have. We played some high school games in Jacksonville, back in the early 90s, and it's been such a long time ago, but it seems like yesterday, just cutting my teeth in the coaching profession in this state. Right out of college, we went from the state of Wisconsin, where I went to school, and went straight down to Florida with my wife, and we got married that summer in 1992 and started coaching high school football. And she was a high school math teacher and head volleyball coach, assistant softball, and I was my first year I was a head wrestling coach and assistant football, and then became the head coach year two. So didn't know what I was doing in regards to the schematic part of it, really just kind of followed my heart and led with a lot of passion and energy. But just a lot of great memories, and just thinking about the stadiums we played in, the place we played, and it's just kind of pretty cool to come back here where it all started.
Another guy with a special story down here, Raekwon. His mom's going to be heading up. He had a rough phone call 2 falls ago when she was down here. What would your message be to him?
Well, I think life and the struggles of life really help you appreciate what you have. And I think that the message is just make the most of every moment. Hug your family, love your family. Don't take any of them for granted, because we never promised tomorrow. And he's been one of those guys that's really lived that out, and I think that he's been so consistent in his choices and the way he's worked, and the kind of young man that he is, and he's so close. He cares about his family so much, and they've had a hard time, and I just think that my challenge to him is, hey, just keep doing what you're doing so you can help your family the most by you get your degree, and if he's blessed enough to play, professionally, then that's awesome. But if not, he's got a great degree to be able to provide for his family and take care of them, and give them the things that he knows that he wants them to have, and take care of his mom. So she's proud of him, and she should be, and so he's a special kid.
He's one of 26 that call Florida home. What's your mission statement in this state when it comes to recruiting?
Well, it's relationships, and we've been very strategic in the way that we've attacked this state recruiting-wise, and we've assigned we kind of treat it like an in-state area. We assign guys to areas, which is not always the case. A lot of times in an area that's this far from your location, you may position recruit it or spot recruit it, but we area recruit it, which is different for us. And so we have guys assigned to areas, and they build relationships over time, and I think that's a big key to our success here. And I've obviously had a history here, in both collegiately and high school-wise, and so I think that's another variable. But yeah, the plan of attack is just to build relationships, know who these guys are from a young age, know the coaches well enough that you can trust what they're going to tell you, so you get the right guys that fit with us, and that's what we try to do.
On a lighter note, quickly, Peyton Ramsey, named after Peyton Manning. He's running into the Vols on this magical kind of comeback season. How do you make sense of all that, Coach?
That's a pretty cool story, really, and just from getting to know Peyton through this process of me being here, and he was already committed to us when I got hired, but so I didn't have in-home visits with his family, but just knowing that he's named for Peyton Manning, and then obviously, he goes to Tennessee and then ends up with the Colts for all these years, and all the special things that he did, but yeah, I think it's pretty fitting. That's kind of summarized this season for him. There's a lot of things have happened that have been pretty fitting, and the way he's allowed us to finish at some key times and some really, really big games, big wins, all the way back to Maryland, and then on the road at Nebraska, and then the bucket win. He scores the game-winning touchdown. It's just, once again, pretty fitting conclusion to a regular season that has been really special for him. And as I've said many times, it's just his character was able to be revealed through the adversity that I created for him. So, but at the same time, he's just responded in such an awesome way. But it has given the country a chance to see what makes him special and what makes him such a unique guy in today's game, that he stayed true to our program and chose to stay and fight and be a great teammate and then rise up and make plays when called upon. And so I just really couldn't be happier for him and more proud of a young man to be able to do what he's done. And I just want to see him finish against the Volunteers and in another national stage opportunity for him to show the country how special he is.
You talked about obviously for reasons. Raekwon and Mike earlier, they were both talking about how this Tennessee matchup with a lot of just north-south football, how much those guys as linebackers are looking forward to playing in this type of game. Talk a little bit about that, how that's going to have to play out for them.
Well, you think about that room and a lot of Southern guys on that roster from those positions, and raised in SEC country for those guys. Raised watching the Florida Gators play in this state and Tennessee. Some of these guys are Tennessee kids as well that you mentioned, and at linebacker. And I just think that those guys have that's Big Ten versus the SEC. Which is I think the two best conferences in all of college football right now, and everybody can have their own opinions about that. But at the same time, they embrace that, and they know it's a physical brand of football that both conferences play. It's leagues that are known for their size, athleticism, and just really good teams, and good players that produce, at the next level as well. So I think our guys have embraced that. They know we're going to play our best football defensively. The linebackers run the defense. That's what that position demands. It demands production and leadership, and those guys have risen up. The guys you mentioned there really are the leaders of our defense, and that's what that position has to be. And just really proud of them. And both you think Raekwon and Mike are both being Florida kids, and just really have, I think, both come into their own as players and as leaders, and continuing. It never stops. Even yesterday, I was just challenging Mike about being more verbal, and being louder and just talking with more confidence. And he's really a quiet guy too, but he plays with so much effort. I just love how hard he plays. He gives us so much, and he's just growing and getting better every week, it seems like. And so, but those guys are really a big part of our defense, and they need to play their best football on Thursday night for us to have success. So I expect them to do that, and today's the next chance for us to get better.
You use the word relentless to describe Marcus Elliott, like way back in August. How has that helped him kind of rise to the depth chart football now?
Yeah, it's been huge. A kid like that kind of had to go the unconventional route to get where he wanted to be. He wanted to be a Power 5 football player and didn't have those opportunities coming out of high school, and so chose to go the junior college route. And he's been huge for us. I mean, you kind of go through, you think how the season's played out, and we knew it was important to get a guy with his size in there in the off season, and he's proven that to be a very, very good decision on our part to get him here. And he practices hard, he plays hard, he is relentless. He just really, I love his effort, I love his toughness, I love the way he goes about his business. Doesn't say a whole lot, but he plays hard every single day. And another young guy on our team, he's just a sophomore, but all these, just like we said last night to our team, all you guys that are freshmen, this is the end of this is the beginning of your sophomore season. These guys that are sophomores, this is the beginning of their junior season as they get ready this late in the year. So those guys have to think that way, they got to produce that way, and we expect them to play that way.
Health-wise, Stevie, Matt, and I guess Simon, we've seen him in.
Yeah, so still got, of those three, I think Matt is the one that's I feel the most good about. The other two guys, we just got to figure some things out with them and see if they're going to be able to go or not. So still don't know yet on Stevie and Simon. So, but if they can go, they're going to go. If not, we're always going to do what's best for our guys.
Was Simon something that happened during the practices?
Yeah, it was. It was an injury during practice, unfortunately. So.
Tom, when you look at the way the schedule worked out the last 2 years, you didn't really have that set final date for your seniors and fifth-year guys just because of the Purdue game and the nature of it. But now maybe you have some time to reflect and look back on what those guys meant to the program. Just how do you go about that kind of finality aspect of knowing that for certain guys on this roster, this is the last college football game they'll ever play?
Yeah, it's interesting you say that because even the last 2 years it's been a hard way to close with those guys because you go to that final game, it's not expected to be your final game, but it could be, and then you go out and recruit the very next day, and so it's been hard to even connect with them at times and get some good closure with them, and even just having some, we had to even rethink how we did our end of the year banquets, because of the recruiting calendar now that's in place. So it did create some challenges, and this year's been so awesome to not have to deal with any of that stuff. You just basically, and we knew going in, obviously, the Purdue game that we were going to a bowl game, but you go into that game and there's going to be another one, so you don't have to even think about the finality of your senior class, because you want to finish well with those guys. You want them to know how important they are to your program and to everything that they've given. And it's unique for me because I haven't always recruited those guys, but they're our guys, and it doesn't really matter that they were already here when I got here. They're still our part of our family, and that will never change. And so, but you want to make sure you get some closure, and this is the first time we've been able to do that. And we've talked about even yesterday. Hey, this is your last Wednesday practice you're ever going to have, in this program. And then today's going to be the last Thursday practice, because this is how we think of it in regards to our normal Saturday preparation, but 2 days before kickoff. But just that part of it, you'd be able to even pull guys aside and talk to them and just hug them and thank them and appreciate them and let them know how much they mean and how much I appreciate, because this is a special senior class, how much I appreciate what they've done for us and the change they've created, and I just want to see them finish and go out on top.
Marcus, circling back to him and also CO Nofo, I mean, how much better do you feel about the future of the defensive tackle position?
Totally different than I did, going into the season, and even a year ago. I was concerned a year ago about our inside guys on the D-line, and I knew we had to get a good class of guys, and we did that a year ago, and those guys have really proven to be the group that we thought they were going to be, and obviously their best football is in front of them. Much to be developed, much to work on, but just to have a nucleus of guys that are freshmen and sophomores that we know we can count on. They're going to be big, strong guys to anchor the middle. They'll keep getting bigger and stronger with our weight program that we have here and all that we do with those guys. So yeah, it's a good feeling to have that, and then you bring in DeMarge Lewis, we just signed him, so another big 300-pound guy in the middle there that can run and a good athlete. So just got to keep finding more of those guys and just keep stocking them up, because that's a critical part of this game.
It's a great week, great opponent. How do you find some anger when you look at Tennessee? It's such a great step for the program. How challenging is it to really make them the enemy on Thursday night?
Well, I mean, it's never about making somebody that. We talk so much about, I just think the greatest motivator of all is love and the passion we have for what we do, why we do it, who we do it for, and I think that's what generates it. It's even when we played Purdue, I mean, it's never about hating Purdue. I mean, it's about loving each other, and that to me is a much greater motivator, and it lasts throughout the whole game and beyond. And so, but at the same time, Tennessee wants what we want. And we want something special, and we want to finish, and only one team gets to get that opportunity. And so we're going to fight and claw and scratch, and trust me, we'll find ways to motivate them behind the scenes. So, but I don't always say that stuff publicly. But at the same time, I know what buttons to push.
In terms of the gifts you guys got yesterday from the Gator Bowl, I mean, obviously that's very tangible stuff, but how much does that show what can come with being a winning program, kind of motivate the younger players?
Kids love gear, they love technology, and that's what they get on these bowl games, and they get advertising with all the other guys and use it in recruiting, and yeah, it's fun. I mean, they got even the headsets they got last night, they got their initials on, and they're really nice, and they do a good job. It's the first class bowl game, and all the bowls do a great job, but just really, you can tell that it means a lot to this whole community, and our players can feel that. And so, but yeah, there's no question that all the stuff that they get, it adds up. It's good.
I know in terms of, they got backpacks, and I know there's the patches on the gear now. In terms of wearing that around campus and stuff like that, how beneficial can that be for the program?
It is. I'm going to wear it as much as I can. Everywhere we go, everything we do, it's a special opportunity, and I want that to be the new normal here, is that we're going to bowl games, and we're playing this time of year, and our kids are expecting that, and I want them to be hungry for that, and I want them to understand that there's, it's just like anything else. There's rewards when you do things the right way, and obviously no things always work out when you do things the right way, but I think more times than not they do. And so we want to do things at a certain level. We want to prepare at a certain level. We want to play at a certain level. And when you do that, you get rewarded by going to bowl games and playing in these type of stadiums, these type of opponents, getting this kind of gear, and all these different things that go with being in this situation. And that's part of the continual growth of a program.
One kid from Tennessee that unfortunately is not going to be playing, Jacoby Hewitt. I know he had the bad injury. Where is he in his recovery? And
he looks great. And he's out here every day working hard, and he's getting close to 100%. So he'll be. I expect him to be full speed for spring football. And he's a guy that you kind of forget about. You don't talk about him, but he's an important part of this program. He's a very good athlete, and he'll be back ready to roll. And I know he's hungry. I see him every day, and he's just chomping at the bit to get back out here. So, but that's what injuries do that for you. They give you a refocus on what matters, and you don't take things for granted as much when you come back from that kind of situation.
Tom, finally, there's a man here that gave you the keys to the car a couple of years back. You brought in recruiting classes, you've won, you're standing here ahead of the Gator Bowl. What would you tell your boss?
Well, thank you, and this just means a lot when people believe in you, So I'm an emotional guy, but I just appreciate it. It means a lot. It's my home, it's personal. And he believed in me when maybe some others would not have. And so I want to do a great job for him, for IU, for my home.